Hi guys, Squall here. Welcome to another Train Sim World 2 video. This time we're trying out the Sherman Hill Cheyenne to Laramie route add-on. This is a part of Wyoming, I believe. Quite significant during the sort of 1860s era. The big boy used to go through here. It's a very steep gradient through here, like 1.8% I think it is on the, I think it's the westbound stretch, or 1.5, something like that, don't quote me. I think the westbound stretch goes to the Laramie Mountains. If we have a look at this, possibly. Yeah, there you go. So this bit here is really quite steep gradient. The actual map is about 58 miles long, and it starts down here in Cheyenne, which is quite a big, I'll show the track in a second. It's quite a big area down here. We've got a chem plant on the way, a quarry, and then you've got Sherman Hill Summit, so it kind of peaks here, and then heads on to Laramie over here. If I press 9 and zoom out, there we go, get the track layout. So today we're going to be starting, well, here in this kind of midsection, and then heading down to Laramie, and I think we're then switching train. You can see the track layout, it's quite a lot of track. Switching train and bringing some other freight train back up this kind of westbound leg. Over here, down in Cheyenne, you can see just how big the track layout is. It's quite significant. Look at that roundhouse there. There's something like 6 scenarios for this thing, but it strikes me there's so much track here. They could have done an awful lot more. I had a look on, oh, by the way, Dovetail sent me this review key, so I haven't paid for this. And I had a look at the Steam reviews to see what people thought about the scenario, and it actually has quite mixed reviews. A lot of the issues seem to be centered around FPS. Now, okay, admittedly, I've got quite a high-end system. I mostly get 60 FPS, even on sort of max settings. I don't know if it's been patched since people were commenting on it, or just because, I don't know, my video card's got a lot of video memory or something like that. But it seems to run quite well for me, although occasionally it does seem to load scenery and my FPS will tank for a few seconds and then it'll be absolutely fine again. And the other thing people commented on was, if you look at the colour of the ground, and then when you get back in the cab, look how washed out it is. And people are saying it's all really washed out, and it is, but I'll tell you what it is. I think it's the Unreal Engine doing adjustments for the eye, because if you look over here, did you see it dim down then? Do you see that? When you look towards this direction, it goes really washed out, and then when you look back over here, it's compensating for your kind of iris, I think, of the eye. I don't know. I don't think it's a bug necessarily, but the FPS does appear to have upset a lot of people. Anyway, so let's start by chucking the reverser handle in and chuck it into the forward position. It's already started the engine for us. Only some of the MFD stuff seems to be implemented in this. Oh, by the way, we've not really mentioned what the train is, have we? So it looks like we've got 32 cars on this. This is the EMD SD70ACe. What a great name that is. Apple, eat your heart out. 1,400 tons, 700 yards. This is like a bit of a diesel-electric beast, this one. As are most locomotives on this line, they tend to be really quite beefy. On this particular scenario, we're taking single-decker consist by the look of it. But maybe when we get down to the yard, you might see double-decker stuff. There is definitely double-decker stuff in here. I've seen it. And there's some very long trains going on. Right, so if we set all that on, we have the lights on bright. Yes, they are. Just checking the train. So you've got, yeah, your horn over here and your bell down there. You've then got your automatic brake, your independent brake, and your dynamic brake, which you do need when you're going downhill in this thing, because there's a lot of weight behind us. So we're going to set the automatic brake to release, which we can use the semicolon or comma keys to do that. So we'll set that to release. The brake pressure, as you'll see bottom right, takes a while. It takes a while for the air to come back into the brake lines. You can see it building up here, the brake pipe pressure. So, you know, you could put the throttle down now, but, you know, it will take a bit to get going because it's still releasing the brakes in all those cars. It takes ages to get down the bottom there. So we'll just let that run for a little bit. So, yeah, this is a Laramie to Cheyenne route, 58 miles, peaks over the Sherman Hills. Track was built in the 1860s, I believe, and still to this day was considered like one of the great achievements of the American sort of transcontinental rail efforts. you know, and in the steam era, the big boy did run over here, but now it's all purely like big hunking diesel electric stuff. Let's chuck some power in. Let's get a couple. We'll get 2 notches of power just to get us moving, otherwise we'll start to get wheel slip. I normally open the windows because I like listening to the engines. There we go. The light key does work. The sun visor thing, they all kind of work. Wipers work, etc. But like I say, limited MFD functionality. All this stuff works. I don't know how accurate it is, but it does work. The sander's down here if you need it. The kind of dead man switch here, not really active. You can kind of get up and sit back down again. But I had a look around for breakers as well, to see if I can activate the signal aspect warning stuff, and I can't seem to find a breaker for that, which maybe I haven't actually read the manual, so I'd actually have to go and look and see if I can find that. Anyway, we're moving now, so we'll put a bit more juice in, get some more speed. But yeah, this is, if you look at the Union Pacific livery on these things, built in America, this is very much Union Pacific territory. Now, the route here is going to be downhill, so, oh yeah, we go down to Laramie, that's it, and then we come back up towards the summit, and then we go down to Cheyenne, I can't remember. So yeah, we're downhill going northbound here, so when we're coming back up this side, undoubtedly we'll be climbing. I'm just going to kill the throttle because we will pick up speed anyway. What we'll need to do is try and manage our speed with the dynamic brake. In terms of scenery, I mean, for Train Sim World, it's unreal stuff, isn't it? So the skybox is literally still one of the worst skyboxes in any Unreal game. It really, honestly, I can't believe they've not changed it. But on the ground, it's pretty decent. You can good view distance. You can see for miles. Good enough, I would say, scenery. Lots of grass and vegetation. Some people were saying they turned the grass off, and it helped with our FPS. I'm going to implement the dynamic brake now, so we'll bring that into. You'll hear the engine change in a minute. We'll start to bring that into notch 2 and just get the speed of the loco under control, because I don't want to bust through that speed limit if possible. Press the control 1 key, is it? Yeah. 4.7 miles. So we've got 4.7 miles to get down there. We'll just see how it's going. Maybe just give it one more notch of dynamic brake and get it under control. Yeah, you can hear the engine now. Listen to that. So this is effectively engine braking, and it just saves all the wear and tear on the normal brakes, but I'm sure you know that. But yeah, the scenery is, I'd say, good enough. It is very much Wyoming, you know, it's just massive expanse of land, lots of sort of farms and stuff out here. I think the consist they let you take in this scenario, you can take a lot of coal and what is it? You've got coal, cement. Was it automotives? I think you might have some automotive cars as well, moving cars around. So that, yeah, but huge, long double-decker freight liners are the order of the day in this thing. And the real challenge, I guess, is the hill, like the 1.5% gradient hill that you get westbound across the Laramie Mountains. That's what the challenge really is. And if you have to do a hill start, that can be quite fun for whatever reason. Actually, we don't want to go to 4. We'll drop it back to 2. We'll just keep that speed under control. Right, we've got 1.5 miles to a yellow aspect. And there's that kind of washed out look. If I zoom in, does it help? Not really. I'll look over there. Dims down. It's weird, isn't it? It literally seems to be based. Like, normally, you'd expect the Unreal Engine to shut down your iris and therefore make things lighter and darker based on what you're looking at. And if I put this light on here and make it brighter inside, my eye would start to shut down a little bit. That's what you'd expect. But what actually seems to happen is it's based on the direction that you're looking, which is super odd. I can't work it out. It's obviously the way they've coded this thing. But in terms of the train, it's decent. They've got a similar one to this in Run 8, which they implemented Run 8 in quite a detailed way. Certainly more detailed than this, but it's, you know, it's good enough to enjoy the scenario, I'd say. Not bad engine audio. Some people were complaining about the engine audio, but I'd say it's okay. Right, I'm just going to bring in a bit more dynamic brake. We've got 3.3 miles to destination. 0.7 to a yellow aspect. I don't know if that's going to go red or not. But we will... Yeah, we are coming down the straight bit here. As soon as we get to about here, we're going to have to start slowing down because I expect we'll be doing some track switching going into Laramie. But yeah, look at that. Imagine living out here. Just like miles and miles and miles of land everywhere in all directions. Crazy. It's completely the opposite to the UK, like where I live. Completely the opposite. Like, the nearest thing you get to this is Norfolk, and it's nothing like that. We just don't have this kind of expansive land, you know. Very alien to me. Anyway, lots of little workshops and stuff on the way. Right, what's that doing? Okay, we've got flashing yellow aspect. We are going to have to slow down shortly, so... What are we on? 2.6 miles. It does take time when you do apply the brakes. It does take a lot of time for the pressure to release. Not as much as charging it up, but it does. You know, you can't just suddenly stop these things or slow them down. They take time. So I'm just going to put a little bit more dynamic brake on, just to slow it down a bit. And we'll look at the map. Okay, so we've got a bit of time. Yeah, we are going to still kill some speed shortly. I want to try and use the dynamic brake as much as we can. Maybe if we get down to like 30 or so, normally 30 miles an hour through the... I'm trying to think, when we get to the sidings areas, you're going to be doing like 10 miles an hour probably. Maybe if we aim to get 20 or so through here. Interesting, we're driving on the left. I don't really know why that is. Does anybody know why we're driving on the left in America? Is this a peculiarity to, you know, Wyoming? I don't know. Is it a state route that we're driving on the left, or is it just because they use it in both directions? Answers on a postcard, please. Right, let's just ease that back a touch. That dynamic brake is pretty effective. 0.8% down there, and level 4 was slowing us down quite significantly. Fantastic. Appear to be holding now. It's 22 miles an hour. This is the back here. This is the length of the train. Absolutely massive. Okay, right. What have we got? What have we got? So the signals are set up, points are set up, sorry. We're going to go through here. Yes, we're going to be shimmying over into the sidings. So I think we're okay for speed at the moment. Definitely got it under control. Meanwhile, back inside, it's all nice and peaceful. Over here, you've got the sort of like two other seats here. You've got the second man's seat and another seat. It says Icebox must supply with ice in ice tray when servicing. What is that? I got a cocktail bar. Fantastic. Right, I'd say we've got this under control. The problem with these trains like these, and got these huge freight runs, is you can very quickly lose control. You've got to keep on top of it because that momentum is very hard to deal with. As long as you're ahead of the train, you'll be fine. If you let it get ahead of you, then you'll be in a big mess very quickly. Right, now siding changes coming up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some more dynamic brake on, just get it down to like 15 miles an hour as we approach the sidings. Literally all about energy management, these things, isn't it? That's what it is. That looked like a red, I suppose. Was that a red or a flashing red? Flashing red. Okay. Right, gotta get some more dynamic brake on. Now the gradient is actually leveling off at this point. However, we've still got a lot of train behind us. So I'm just going to kill the dynamic brake now. And just let the back of that train push us through. Because we are on level ground, the back of the train's still on like 0.8%. And if you look, we're still accelerating. But actually put a bit more back on. Now our FPS has dropped to 30 at this point, 33. It's still, actually it's gone back to 60. I think what it just did was load all the scenery here. And there's a lot of it, I think, coming up. So, yeah, it's kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of gone back to 30 and 40. It's loading all the scenery. The problem is that because they use the Unreal Engine, they don't really have much control over how it loads stuff. And it's one of the downsides of just using an engine is you kind of lose control to how it does certain things. I'm just going to put some more brake back on because I don't like the fact we're still accelerating. Yeah, I think 15 is a safe bet. We're changing through here now. I think we're parking in those sidings up next to that one of those trains there. Yeah, we're parking down the side of the one on the right. I'll look at it. Okay, I'm just going to kill the dynamic brake now because I've noticed the speed is starting to drop. So, oh, look at that. Just when it switched to 15. Amazing. I'm hoping it won't drop down anymore. Yeah. So in terms of like amount of track and stuff, it's pretty well laid out. It's just the FPS, like we're doing between 60 then 40 then 30 then 60. I see what people mean. They attribute it to the grass, but I don't know. I think it's the sheer volume of complexity of this area is what's causing the issue. I mean, like I say, I'm running on Epic. You could dial the settings back. That's one thing you can do. Where are we stopping? 600 yards, okay. Now, I don't know what the scenario says. What are we doing here? Set the brake to full service, set the reverse neutral, remove the reverser, blah, 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 blah. Leave the train, okay. Sit in the engineer's seat. It sounds like... are we taking one of the other trains? I thought maybe we're detaching from this and hauling something else back up the other side, but it sounds like we're going to be hauling a different train. We shall see. But the back of the train is still coming through those points. Fantastic. These sidings must be, like, our train is, what, 700 yards long, so these sidings must be... It's big enough for this one, and this carries on quite a bit, doesn't it? This carries on huge amounts. I mean, they must be a mile long. I think they are, like, a mile long, each siding. Bonkers. I'm just going to put that marker up. Control 1 to do that. You can get rid of all this stuff, by the way, with like Control 5 will control this, and Control 4 will do all that stuff, top right. You can turn these things on and off. You can even the dot in the middle, you see that? You can have Control 8 will control that thing. But it's useful, I find, when you're looking around, but if you want it off, you just press Control 8 and you can not have it at all. Right, let's try and get our braking right on this one. So we probably want to go to minimum application, 100 yards out, maybe. We'll try that. You can always apply more brake. So I'm going to do it now. Minimum application. Take a while to get the power out of those brakes. May have done it too soon. I think that's released. Oh, those brakes are good. Yeah, just a little bit. Look, you see, I've released the brakes, but it's still arresting the speed because it just takes forever to put the pressure back in the line. There we go. That should do it. Right, put the brakes on. Full service. Okay, we can leave these here to be sorted onto the next part of the journey, alright? So what are we doing to the train? Presumably we're killing all this stuff. Let's put that back into neutral. Waiting for instructions. Remove the reverser. Interesting. Generator to off. Presumably you want to set the fuel pump to off. Set the engine run to off. I'm going to turn the lights off. Apparently we're leaving the engine running. That's interesting. Leave the train. I might leave... Can I leave that side? No, I have to leave that side. There's only one door. I kind of want to walk on the inside bit, I think. Okay. Much safer down here. Hey, it is that way. Okay. So it looks like we're going on a long run. Hang on, can you actually climb up this? Oh, it won't let me climb up. I was hoping to run along the top of the train. Jump from car to car. You can do that in most games. Like Derail Valley and stuff lets you do that. Can't believe they don't let you do it. Can we get over there? Climb over. Oh, come on. Make that look difficult. Wow, look at the size of these, like cattle cars or something. Look at that. This is the thing about, like, trains. Until you get next to one, you don't realise how big these things are. They're absolutely massive. Looks like it's starting... Is that rain? Interesting. It doesn't look like it should be raining, but it's raining, apparently. Scripted rain. Right, 400 yards. And then... I'm just going to put that marker on. Looks like we're taking this one. This looks like cement cars or something. Open hatch covers before unloading. Nice. Massive hoppers. Look at that. 3 unload points underneath. Maybe they are cement cars. They're probably empty, I guess. Because I remember on the map, the cement place is out towards the east. So that implies you bring the cement here, empty it, and then go back with empty cars. .5,000 cubic feet. Yep, that's a heck of a weight. It's such a long run. I miss Derail Valley's ability to teleport at this point. In Derail Valley, you can just teleport down here. Well, it sounds like it's already running. I don't quite get that. It should let you start the locomotive yourself. Let's get rid of that. Open the doors. Always smelly and stuffy in here. Cool. Right, so presumably we want to put the reverser in. Fuel pump to on. Lights to bright. Do that. Set banking com to on. Okay. Set the air brake setup to lead. So this is the limited functionality of this thing, but you can go into like more options, and then you can go into operator controls. And then you can basically change the way the brake works. So it wants us to be air brake setup to lead cut in. So we go to lead, and then we go, it's on cut out, you see that? Then we go to lead cut in. Then set the air brake to release. We're on the flat, so... Oops, not that one. That one. And then we just wait for the brake pressure? The brake pressure to come up. Put the reverse into forward. And then we have a quick look where we're heading here. So we're going to go, presumably, there's the blue line, up here somewhere. So this should be a gradient climb back. This is 1,400 tons again, so it sounds like these cars are empty. And then we wait for Gotta wait for this brake pipe pressure to come up. I should probably have waited a bit longer. Thought we'd put the wipers on. Notice they don't make any sound. Or if they do, it's so quiet we can't hear it. Just starting to move now. So this has only got one loco on the front. Oh, there's one on the back as well. Alright, so it's push-pull. The other one that we just brought in, it was double-fronted. Right, just gotta watch our speed out here. Looking at the objects on the left there, it's quite a detailed little town, but I'm getting 30 FPS when I look at it. I'm getting 60. I think it feels to me like there's some parts of it are not optimized properly. Like there's something not quite right. Some objects that are in the scene are causing a bit of an FPS drop, I think, is my best guess. Yeah, that's certainly the main... It seems to be when I look over there. That's certainly the main cause of the Steam reviews being a bit mixed as they are. Whether they'll come back and fix it, I don't know. They're not fantastic at patching these things. So we shall see. Anyway. So we're taking the left track again. I want to look to see what that is there. Is that little siding, that forked siding? You know, it's a real shame, I've said this many times before, but it's a real shame that the scenarios are based like this. Like, how fantastic would it be to be able to buy another scenario that just extended this? That would be... It's a bit like what they did in Euro Truck, you know, where you're sort of building country to country or state to state an American truck sim, and each one connects to the previous one. That's what you want. You want your scenarios to connect together, so when you've got them all installed, you can just drive for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of miles. That would be amazing. No sign of it happening though. Yeah, it's when I look over there, I get 30 FPS. I look this way, I get 60. It's mad. Right, so I remember when we got to here, the gradient went from 0.8%, 0.6, 0.4, and then it became flat here. So if the same thing happens, we should start to hit a gradient over here. Although at the moment, it looks very flat. So we shall see. I'm curious, does anybody know what this is for here? There's like a rectangle cutout with a hole in it. Now, I'd like to say it's to put your drink in it. And it has a drain hole just in case you get a spill. But then I have to ask myself, why is it square and not a circle? Or is it for something else, and is the hole to let you clamp something in there? What is that? Does anybody know? If you know, leave a comment. What is that for? It's probably something really obvious. Right. Where's the back of the train? Yeah, we're all good. Bring in some throttle. Because if we are going to climb, which I expect we will, then we definitely need some momentum to get us up there. There it comes, 0.3. Just came in very quickly. Yeah, okay. Let's get the momentum going now. Looks like there's a quarry or something on the left. Is that what it said on the map? Wasn't that map, was it? In order to look at this map, I have to pause it. That's the problem. Laramie Cement Works. There you go. Cement Works here. And a depot and a yard. Okay. That kind of makes some sense then. Speed's rising. There's the little fork that we looked at earlier. It looks like it is just a siding. Nothing particularly interesting. What is curious though is how short that siding is, considering. Because if you want to use both tracks, you can't have anything longer than that length there. So it's almost for just locomotives, maybe. Weird. Let's give it a bit more juice. Is that yellow? I'm trying to see what that says down there. Like 12 miles till destination. Oh, we just flattened out and the speed limit's gone right up. Look at that. Can't work out if there's a level crossing coming. Is that the cement works, do you think? That might be. There's a real weird kink in the track here. What the heck? Looks like this is effectively a single track line through here. Yeah, it is. It's a single track line, and that is all cement works. There's actually loads of cars down there we should be able to see in a minute. So, I mean, scenery-wise, this is pretty decent. This is really good quality stuff. It's just a shame that they've got some kind of FPS issue going on somewhere. I reckon it's fixable. I missed that. Missed that level crossing. I was too busy looking at that double header. Where's that going then? I bet there's some scenarios that do shunting works here at the cement factory. Yeah, it sounds to me like they load up with cement here and then put them down there and then bring them out again, maybe. I don't know. 0.5% gradient. Send that bell off. Do you know what? If we have to stop now, I'm actually quite worried. 60 miles an hour. This is going to take a while. But we'll see how steep this gets. If it's a single track, in theory, we should have exclusive use of it, in theory. Unless there's something else further down the line. There is a passing loop here, do you see it? There's a single track here, and then it becomes a passing loop there. And then goes back to single track. And then we're stopping here somewhere. I'm surprised. It looks like the line that goes up to Cheyenne is the bit that goes up through the hill. I'm surprised how level this is at this point. It's that line has the gradients on it. Maybe this will suddenly give a steeper hill later. We'll find out shortly. Less than 10 miles. We're still accelerating, I think. The incline just came back. I think the most important thing we can do right now is just keep our eye on this gradient. Because if it suddenly starts to climb, we need to get more power in or we'll start losing momentum fairly quickly. Other than that, it's not a bad little run, this. These things are quite close together. Is that normal? They seem to be way too close together. just going to back off on the power because reaching the speed limit. Although we're about to start climbing again. If we can keep it around 65, 70, I'll be quite happy with that. What's that? Green. Eight miles. I must admit, I do like the colour of the landscape. It's that kind of mixture of terracotta sand and green grass, and it's such a lovely blend. A bit more power down. I'm curious as to why they only built this as single track, but they did the other stretch as double track. And why there's a difference, because in theory you would just need one of these, so why have we got two? Like, why, what's the reasoning here? Was this built after that one? I don't know. Back on the, what's this, length counter, does that do anything? No. Brighter. Dimmer. That actually works. So that option works, the length counter doesn't. The operator controls does, but I'm not going to mess with that right now. Does this work? Yeah, that works as well. That gradient just went up to 0.8. Locomotive brake, operator controls, speed control. Length counter, brakes. It's just, yeah, not a lot of it's implemented. Landscape's changing, isn't it? Less vegetation now. There's like a road running parallel with us. Now here's the passing loop. What's the speed limit through this, I wonder? Oh, we're on the straight bit. Fantastic. Again, we're on the left side. Interesting. I presume that there is some kind of draw issue. I'm pretty certain that cliff, that mountain should probably roll like that, but there's a piece not being drawn and it just looks like an enormous cliff drop. .6 miles, we're getting there. So apparently this has, each of these locomotives has 4,300 horsepower. And we've got one on the back as well. So we've got 8,600 horsepower. It's a lot of horses. Oh, look at this gradient. Look at this, 1.4%. This is where we're going to need those horses, I think. See, now I'm curious. Did they build this one first and then do the other one? Or does this one come later? I don't know. I'm curious. Right, I've got a yellow aspect coming in 0.8 miles. No way. Not that far off where we're heading, so we'll have to keep our eye out. .4%. I think we're gradually losing speed, but it's fine. We'll have to stop soon anyway. Yep, flashing. Stopping this is going to be a work of art. Not that I need to acknowledge that, but I will anyway. .2 miles to yellow. I think when we get about 1.5 miles out, I'll just back off on the throttle and we'll let the hill start bleeding off the speed a little bit. Very straight piece of track, isn't it? That's a solid yellow this time. Which means we've got a red. Oh, there goes the frames. Do you see that? There you go. There you go. Yeah, we've got a red coming up. That's what I was talking about. Look at that. Because it effectively just loaded the next sector, and I think it just tanked the frames while it loaded a load of stuff up. There you go. Look. Oh my god. That is what? And then it's fine again. It's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. And I think that is what's upsetting people. And I think that's an Unreal Engine loading issue more than anything else. I'm going to get the brakes on a little bit now. Just to shave off some of that speed. Because we've got to stop. We've got a red aspect, so we need to stop. Not that far away. Luckily, we've got quite a steep gradient of 1.6%. It's not going to be hard to do, but again, I'm just trying to get ahead of the game. Right, let's release the brakes. Try and take the speed back, because while we're still moving we're not going to get any wheel slip, whereas if we slow down too much we start risking the wheel slip happening. This is fun. This is much more under control. But yeah, you can see the gradient though. It's not a lot, 1.6%, but when you've got this much weight behind you, it's huge. kill the throttle now, let it coast in, and we'll just stop on top of the... where's the actual signal? There it is. Oh wow, this is slowing down way quicker than I thought it would. I thought, yeah, we'll just cruise. Just the last couple of 100 yards, we'll just cruise. No, that hill thought otherwise. I mean, technically speaking, you would probably stop down there, not here, but we'll do what the scenario says. Well, this has been quite good fun. I mean, despite that frame rate drops now and again, quite enjoyed it. I think the scenery is really nice. It's just a shame that there's a bit of optimizing needs doing. But, you know, I think if you get it on a sale, it's a good deal. Good bit of fun. I wouldn't pay full price for it. I hope they do fix the problems, but we'll see. So for now, we could be at this signal for a while. Let's see how you did. Let's see how many Action Man points we got. When you're ready, game. There we go. All right, that's pretty well behaved, I'd say. Pretty well behaved through there. Stop accuracy not listed. Don't worry about the times. 45 minutes taken, 20 miles. Performance graph. Yeah. Okay. Well, so if I just jump back to the main menu, I'll quickly show you what you get. So under here, you've got a 24-hour timetable. It's worth saying that. You've got two different logos here, the SD70ACe and the SD40-2. This is a 3,000 horsepower one, I think. Doesn't actually tell you. But it is. So yeah, you've got chemical switching, lots of switching works you can do if you fancy doing that kind of thing. Under scenarios, you've got that one that we just did. You've got a switching job, a 1 hour help a train struggling to climb the grade, cement works run, which is 45 minutes long, a 100-minute run. Look at this, from end to end. So this is Cheyenne to Laramie all the way. Reports to come in, a valuable cargo might have caught the attention of some local gangs, so keep an eye out. And then some sandbox switching, cut up consist as you please. But yeah, that is it for this video, guys. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Until the next one, take care. Happy training.